Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 7 at Delaware Park on Saturday is the Grade 3 Kent. $200,000 is the purse. We're going a mile and an eighth on the turf for 3-year-olds. Before we get to the analysis, 4th of July weekend is coming up, and DRF has a 4th of July sale where you can save up to 50% off select handicapping products. Learn more, shop at DRF.com. Here's the field for the Grade 3 Kent Stakes, Mike, and wow, what a summer. The number 5. He only paid, what, $170 when he won the Grade 2 Penn Mile last time out, and I know the connections are a little excited. 60% chance of rain at Delaware right now for Saturday. Even with a 60% chance of rain, it's unlikely they're going to be running the race in a swamp like they did at Penn National last time.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly feels like he took advantage to pull off that pretty big upset there, Dan. A mile and 42 and change. You know that they were going over some very boggy turf there. We'll see if he can repeat that performance. If he does, I guess he's going to be tough in here.
He's got good tactical speed. As we throw up the Timeform US pace projector, I would expect Penn National's leading rider, Tyler Connor, to have him right up close to the pace. XY Time does have speed. Uncle Irish has shown speed on dirt. This one's trying turf for the first time. I think this pace is going to be fair, Mike. I think they're all going to have a shot. I think main event's got to be closer.
Yeah, I do too. Main event feels like that's his best running style as well. Yeah, I agree with you, Dan. I think the pace could be solid in this race. So I don't really feel like it's a big advantage, for some of these longer prices to show speed in here.
Number 1 is Speaking Scout, making the 3rd start of the form cycle for trainer Graham Motion, and maybe just getting Lasix once more will help Speaking Scout, who won an entry-level allowance at Keeneland with Lasix 2 starts back. They ran this horse in the Audubon at Churchill Downs, didn't break very well, and to be honest, the way the Churchill Downs turf course has worked out over the summer, I'm not going to hold anything against horses that didn't run well there.
No, I agree with that. I mean, those are easy excuses to make for horses. So I guess even if you're going to do that, Dan, you want to go back to Speaking Scouts, prior performances, and I guess decide how you feel about those. Personally, I'm not thrilled with any of them. I mean, I do feel like there's a chance this horse, could turn out to be pretty good. I just don't really love any of his races on the grass.
XY Time, the number 2, has improved by leaps and bounds since switching to grass. This horse was offered for $20,000 at Colonial Downs last summer. He won his turf debut that day on the lead, and his most recent start, all things considered, was a good effort. He was returning off about a 7.5-month layoff. Let's watch XY Time's race. He went right to the lead in here. I thought he carved out some legitimate fractions, and he's just going to get pipped at the wire. The 6th place finisher, one of the Maryland Million turf winners from years past, Mr. D'Angelo, would come back to win an entry-level allowance with an 80 buyer. This was a good race from XY Time, but he's facing a lot tougher.
Right. This is a good performance from him. I thought he ran really well in here. And I don't have any knocks on any of his 3 turf starts so far, Dan. But as we've already talked about, this is a big step up in class. And having the kind of speed that he has, it's not that big of an advantage in this race.
Christophe Clement sending out several interesting horses on the Delaware card on Saturday, including in a stakes race on the turf with some European invaders earlier on. Elazar made his career debut in France over a synthetic surface. Didn't break very well, made this huge run from last to win it. It was a nice performance, and he made his first start for Clement after being privately purchased for a big ticket in the Pennine Ridge. Now, I thought the Pennine Ridge was not a bad effort at all, considering he didn't break. He kind of moved into the teeth of the pace, turning for home while down inside, and then he flattened out, perhaps feeling the effects of the layoff. I talked to Mr. Clement, though, earlier today. He was very disappointed with the race.
Yeah, I know that they were very high on this horse going in, and they thought that he was going to run really well. I'm kind of with you, Dan. I think maybe he ran a little better than it looks on paper. Things just didn't really go his way in there. Bad start. He was I thought, very hard to settle early in that race, too. Rosario trying to get him to rate a little bit, and it didn't seem like he wanted to. All in all, I thought it was fine. And obviously, this is an easier spot for him. I don't know. I just feel like there's a chance that this horse still could turn out to be really good. And if he does, this might be the time to bet him. He's going to be really, really tough in here. And it's not like this is a negative sign that Clement's running him in this race, Dan. He's brought his good 3-year-olds over to run in the Kent before.
He's had a tremendous amount of success in the Kent. And really with a horse like this, like with many European horses we've seen, even the class ones over the years, got to get out of the gate. It's as simple as that. Even if he breaks like the Pennine Ridge, he's going to be really in behind the 8 ball. But I agree with you. This is a great spot for him. The 4 Rod to Rod is entered main track only. So we'll move on to the number 5. That's Wow What a Summer. And Wow What a Summer really took advantage, I thought, of a great ride from Tyler Connor and a very boggy turf course in the Penn Mile. Let's watch Wow What a Summer's race. He was able to save ground early. He was able to shoot on through along the rail on the backstretch. He got the jump on the big favor Annapolis turning for home. And it's not only the final time of a mile in 1:42 and 1 that tells you this is a soft course, but look how strung out this field is. It must have been 50 lengths from front till back. And we've seen horses that were beaten 30 lengths come back and win their next start.
Yeah, it's true. They're very, very tired in the stretch here. And that includes the favorite there. Annapolis is the one who, not only, had the the ground excuse, but he was off of a really long layoff there. And it just felt like he got tired. Listen, I'm not going to knock this horse. He was a huge price winning that day. It's not like he's going to be some kind of short price in this race. I'm just personally not going to bet him.
Chuck Lawrence told me that he just feels that ever since he gelded this horse, he's gotten a lot better. He loved the way he finished and galloped out in his sprint prep for the Penn Mile. So we'll see if he can now transfer that soft turf form to a firmer turf course. May not be totally firm on Saturday, but he will be a playable price, not 83 to 1. The 6 is Main Event, and I like the way Main Event 1-2 starts back. I think you and I might disagree a little bit about the Cutler Bay because he did get a pretty easy lead in that race, but there was at one point on the backstretch where he faced a couple of early challenges, and he shrugged them all off, and he was able to then sprint away. He ran on the American turf, and I liked him that day, and I talked to George Weaver earlier today, and he said that he and Jose Ortiz were cognizant of the fact that speed wasn't doing well at Churchill Downs on the turf that week. They decided to take him back, and they wanted to get him to the outside. Well, that didn't work. He ended up being last on the rail turning into the stretch, and he really didn't do much after that. Weaver said Jose came back, said he didn't like the course.
Yeah, a lot of horses didn't like that course that weekend. We've talked about it several times before, Dan. I just feel like you want to give, especially the horses that ran poorly, you just want to give them a pass for those races over the Churchill turf course. I don't really disagree with you. I think his 3 starts down at Gulfstream Park, I thought he ran well in all of them. He's going to be up close to the pace in here. I think he's obviously a pretty major player. I don't know if I would bet him as the favorite, which the morning line has him.
Uncle Irish will try turf for the first time for the high percentage Jamie Nesbarn. This horse has won 2 consecutive races on the dirt. He's by Uncle Lino, who it's a little too early to tell what kind of sire he's going to be. So far, the results have been good on turf, the dam one on turf, but it's not like there's just this pedigree bursting with turf influences.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see if he handles it. And then he's one of those horses who I guess you could say maybe if he just transfers his form, he could be pretty dangerous in here. His last 3 races on dirt are all pretty good.
King of Hollywood is the number 8, another horse that is going to be switching surfaces. Now, this one's raced on turf in the past without much success. 6 starts, no wins, has hit the board in half of them. Going dirt to turf, I think he's pretty much exposed after 13 races.
Yeah, me too. And as you've already pointed out, we've already seen this horse on the grass, and none of those performances give him a real chance in here.
And Tommy B, the number 9, just looks like a strong contender in here, shipping in for trainer Brad Cox. This horse was an allowance winner 2 starts back. Perhaps most importantly, going this demanding mile and an 1/8 distance. And last time out at Indiana Grand, a lot of folks are going to look at the fact that he was a beaten odds-on favorite and might want to fade him in here. But I think it's worth noting he got wired on a very slow pace by a horse that is in sharp form.
Yeah, that Stitch is actually pretty good. He is in really good form right now. So this horse actually didn't run that poorly last time. He's another one. He's got really good tactical speed from the outside, Dan, so he could fall into a real nice trip here.
And I talked to Cox earlier today. He just thought this horse wasn't of the early varieties, just taking him several starts to get to maturity. And he loves the fact that he's going to run him here at a mile and an 1/8. Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the latest DRFTV video offerings. Top pick time for the grade 3 Kent, Mike. You're going to go with the Clement train runner, Elazar. And again, this horse might have the strongest kick of any horse in this race. I think he gained a lot of fitness from his most recent start, the Pennine Ridge. And if you get the price on the morning line, it's very fair.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get the 5 to 1. Personally, if I get the 5 to 1, I'll be betting.
I'm a main event fan. I think Eric Consell is going to be a little bit more aggressive this time than they were last time out. If he can be sitting second off of XY time early and try to get the jump on these turning for home, I'll be happy. Maybe I need him to drift a little bit off of his morning line. 3691 for Mike, 6531 for me. It's the Kent on a nice card at Delaware on Saturday. Good luck.